Happy Friday, Patriot family. Hello, hello. Trouble is back in the studio.
I was going to say, don't adjust your TV screen or your monitor, because what you're seeing is actually double trouble in the studio. Please pray, because the gremlins
Ask
are
everyone
fleeing.
around. We're definitely double trouble. Double.
One of us by ourselves is usually a rough day for anybody we're going to see.
But both of us,
What?
and when we have each other's back, it's, man, they're like, oh, God.
I got your six. Welcome to Open Mic with Ali and Michelle. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you share this with your family and friends and loved ones, because if you're not, do you really love them? Because they're not being informed.
Gosh.
Kevin, like,
She went there.
I'm just saying, if I would
you're
tell
not
my
sharing
family, I
Open
would
Mic
say, you know, you need to listen. You might want to listen, especially on a Friday. We've got so much coming up.
Oh my
Hillary
gosh.
Clinton. We get to talk about Hillary Clinton, Hillary Rodham Clinton, and the Clintons being deposed. I've never seen somebody catch a case of amnesia as fast as Hillary Rodham Clinton has, but we will talk about...
The internet lives forever, even when the photos are taken in the 90s.
Oh, my God. And when is the last time that your man has been caught in a photo with somebody and you can't remember if y'all talked about it? That a woman never forgets. I'm just saying, that is willful ignorance, and even as a woman, I am not a fan of that. No, we can do better. We can do better.
All right, well...
Sorry, I got hot and bothered over that.
You did. You good. Let's cool you down. Where's the fan? Where's the fan? My
hit the
gosh,
sensitive
y'all.
areas a little bit.
All right, you guys. Well, we are just going to go ahead and get started. Let's open that mic.
Stays on, red hat stays on, red hat stays on, red hat stays on. Take 'em back on freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, he gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor of Maggieville, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
What do you do when they come for you? Freedom's what you gotta do.
Welcome
Red hat stays on.
And if you're not tapping your foot or something else to that song throughout the day, I question your character.
You just calling everybody out today, ma'am.
Listen, it
What
started this
the-
morning on the phone in the car, and it's just going to keep going.
I know. I got the text message.
No, not that was not you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Ollie, that
This is
was
what happens when you work with your best friend. I'm just saying.
it wasn't you. Oh, now I'm really sweating. Oh, let's turn the AC down in here. It's getting hot. Oh goodness.
It's Gremlin Friday, I guess. I just
Where is
they're just saying, I
Grimsley?
don't
Where
know
is Grimsley?
We haven't seen
Where
him
is
in a
that
couple
keep?
days.
I haven't either. Like, he's been very well behaved. He didn't go on the road trip with us.
Oh, he
So
should've.
I feel
That would've
like
been fun.
he got upset and offended, and yeah.
We're like, wait.
There he is. There he is.
Hi,
There's
Grimsley.
Grimsley. Hi.
So
Look.
cute.
Okay, so I want to know his workout regimen. Can you take a look at the 12-pack?
It's the Hegseth benching
Is that what it
the
is?
315, I think.
Is that what it is?
and,
Okay.
and the new military standards. That's what it is.
The new military standards.
It is.
Well, we've got tons of things to cover today, but we want to touch base on the fact that Hillary Clinton was deposed yesterday, and oh wow, everybody's just calling.
Everyone.
Yesterday, and Bill Clinton, her husband, the former president of the United States, is going to be deposed today. What are they being asked questions about? Obviously, the photographs that have surfaced through the Epstein file release of former President Bill Clinton in some pretty compromising positions with some ladies that don't look like Clinton. And we know his history back when he was governor of from Little Rock, Arkansas. He had tons of problems. People in Arkansas, when he got the head of the ticket, they were like, no, not because they didn't want a Democrat at that time but because they knew that he had a laundry list a mile long, and this is kind of part of what he had done. I remember because that was the first presidential election that I closely monitored, and I remembered at the time Hillary.
man.
Well, and his wife Hillary at the time was she came out in an interview and said, "This isn't Tammy Wynette, stand by your man. That's not what I'm doing." And I remember thinking, okay, she's got to be like really involved, and isn't that kind of cool that you can marry somebody and that they would be they would champion your cause, but also be, not just be a yes ma'am or a yes sir kind of person. And I really thought that, so this threw me for a loop, the way she's handling the Epstein issue and the Epstein documents, because you almost have to have more to hide. And I know people on the writer, I know you know where I'm going with this, but you have to be willfully ignorant to not remember certain things when it comes to Epstein. Somebody in the press pool asked her a question. Of course, they didn't take questions in Washington, D.C. They went to Chappaqua, New York, back where they're living, to take questions.
More friendly, probably.
I'd like to know what's on that seal that she's got on that podium that they cut off, because she's not an official anything.
Right.
But this is what happened when they asked her about Epstein attending her daughter Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Take a listen.
Can I ask, why was Colleen Maxwell invited to her daughter Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010? She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that. Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted before that.
She came as the plus one, the guest of someone who was invited.
Was it Epstein?
Thank you all.
That was it.
That's it. It was one question about Maxwell, and she was like, deuces, I'm out.
A plus one.
But how did you not see her? Like, you know her, because there's photo evidence that you've met her.
And this is the thing, you guys, because we run in circles with people, we're photographed with people. You can't possibly know who everybody is that's taking a photo with you. This is a wedding, though. Think about who makes the short list on a wedding guest.
Right.
Okay, a plus
Personal
one.
invite.
A plus one. Okay, a plus one. But she was already a part. The Epstein thing had already happened in Florida. So there were already issues. He had already had an awful plea deal, but he had a plea deal here, and the charges were already standing here in the state of Florida. So that brings me to a question. As the daughter of a former president, is nobody doing any kind of background check on these events? Because you remember when the Obama girls, when they went to college, it was difficult because, college, like your children in college, and they didn't care. They didn't ask to be thrust in the spotlight, but you're going to all these parties, and it's like...
You still need to be vetted.
You need to be vetted,
They still have Secret Service.
Yeah.
They still have security, right? They have it for the rest of their lives. So how do you not do background checks on your guests? You do, because you never know.
Well, when they said she was a plus one, I'm like, was it Epstein?
Even a plus one needs to give information. You have to show ID. You have to give
they're women,
your social
so
security number. I mean,
they're
but
women.
you know.
So we were in Tallahassee the other day, as you remember, because we were on our road trip.
Yeah.
And we're sitting in the auditorium there where they're voting on election integrity. It was a very watered down bill, by the way.
Very much.
But the Democrats kept playing the what card? The black and brown card. The black and brown card. And Allie and I are sitting there like, oh dear, how will we ever? How will we ever find out how to vote? We're the wrong skin color and we're women? Man.
You right, Massa. You right. You right, Massa. I don't has an ID. My children looked at me and was like, Mom, what do they mean? I've seen your ID. Like, what are they talking about? And I'm like, baby girl, I don't even know. It's even ridiculous for children.
When we go to Mar-a-Lago or D.C. or anywhere, they and like whether your name's on the list and you're bringing me, or I'm on the list and I'm bringing you. Yes, plus one. But what do they ask for?
Your information.
Because they're
right. They have to do a background check, guys. So like, I can't.
Well, it gets even better.
I can't even.
So this is another soundbite.
You know it's crazy when she starts laughing.
It's another soundbite. So did you know there's a ton of plea deals that went out with the Jeffrey Epstein case? This is what's wrong, okay, in my opinion. So much of it is wrong. But in 2008, 2009 here in Florida, this is where the plea deal was given to Jeffrey Epstein. And you had people like Pam Bondi that were in the know. It came up later at the Attorney General's level here in Florida that knew about this. So it's not like Epstein's foreign to all of those from Florida that are now serving at the national level. But there's new plea deals that are coming out now, and it's not raising to the surface where people are understanding it. Take a listen as I love this. Jesse Waters, I think, was the one that showed this, kind of Hillary defending herself. Listen.
Barry Levine's the author of The Spider, Inside the Tangled Web of Jeffrey Epstein. Anything you heard just there you want to react to?
Yeah, I mean, there were some really interesting points. We do know that there were 4 women who were called potential possible co-conspirators. They received immunity back at the time of the 2008 non-prosecution agreement in Florida. Ghislaine Maxwell was separate from that. They, of course, later, charged her and convicted her. And we also know that there's women enablers, modeling people across the world who allegedly provided minors to Jeffrey Epstein. So there are a lot of women involved in this case. And these are, of course, separate from the victims and the survivors.
So there you have it. You've got women that are co-conspirators in this that are being given plea deals, but we're not. Part of the plea deal is that we're not finding out who they are, and this is dangerous because this is where Hollywood sort of meets this. If you've got agencies, whether they are for modeling or whatever, we complained about the casting couch in Hollywood. This is no different.
People that are watching that don't know what the casting couch is, I'm gonna need you to do a little bit of research. Because I'm pretty sure the casting couch is equivalent to your consultant's office. Oh, did I say that out loud?
That's a graphic. Bree, we need to make that a graphic. That is exactly what it is. And have like people that are consultants, like with a cigar on the couch. Like I think that would be like, and
it's equivalent.
It's equivalent.
The entertainment and the political arena rhyme. There really is no difference.
They're definitely congruent. Well, pivoting back now to. To Hillary Clinton. That's one. I'm only giving one a day. What's going to happen if I say more than one?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll be me and David in the background, like, we're going to figure it out.
Well, not many times does a very strong woman who portrays herself as a very strong first lady, who portrays herself as a very strong female Secretary of State, not often does she have to plead the fact that, I don't know, you'll have to ask my husband. Apparently, in her deposition yesterday, Hillary Clinton, when asked about some of the tough things, she said, I don't know, you'll have to ask my husband when he's here tomorrow. Take a listen to those that were in the room describing it. Take a look.
Lament on that, but we're going to not release too many details of what happened today. We're going to try to get the video out as quickly as possible, hopefully within the next 24 hours. That's a very long deposition. So as quick as we can get that video produced, we will get that out. The transcript will be released as soon as her attorneys approve it. That's the standard rules of a deposition. And I think that this was a productive deposition today. I think we learned a lot. There were a lot of questions that we asked that we, weren't satisfied with the answers that we got, but we will continue to move forward. Any of my colleagues, every member of the committee asked questions, and
I would just say one of the things I learned today is if you really have specific questions about the Clinton Global Initiative or the relationship between the Clintons and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, you got to ask Bill Clinton.
And that's a great point. The number of times that she said, "I don't know, you'll have to ask my husband," was more than a dozen. And I'll put it like that.
If I can, just hop in. Also, too, I think it's important to note that we have been working in a bipartisan fashion to make this as painless as possible for the people that we're bringing in, but also to ensuring that there's accountability and transparency. You will hear a lot of spin, sometimes out of politicos in Washington, but the fact is that it's our goal and objective following this, and we also, too, did ask for follow-up from the Secretary on producing legislation that will help prevent this from ever happening again in the future, obviously working to combat trafficking, which has been a cause incredibly important, not just to myself, to Chairman Comer, to Representative Nancy Mace, but many members of this oversight committee. And so we are looking forward to continuing to provide that transparency. And Nancy, do you have anything?
And it's important to know, Allie, they fought this hard.
Yeah.
I mean, the Clintons were like, how about we just get a jet and we fly you all here? And then we just talk to you over some coffee and probably, and off the record, of course. They tried everything to get out of this.
Absolutely not. And then she says, there, she's like, I'm just a woman. You have to ask my husband. Well, and then this is what happened. So this is the protection clause of being married, right? You don't have to testify against your spouse. And they can't make you.
Well, but here, let me be clear. She could have taken the Fifth.
That part she could have.
She did not.
And she didn't.
And it's like I have this image in my head of like a woman scorned. I watch too much Lifetime. And like the man is in front, like, but it was just a friend. It wasn't whatever. And she's like about to plow him over, because why would you not say, I don't know, I don't recall. I literally said, talk to my husband tomorrow. Like, if I'm her husband, aren't I a little bit like, babe? Do you see the tire tracks on my back?
You're supposed to plead the fifth, not throw me under the bus. You like put me in the car's way. That's definitely a woman scorned. Like, I want to watch you squeal. I want to watch you squirm while you're being asked these questions. And that probably does something for her. I'm sure. I mean, when you marry a womanizer, I mean, it is what it is. I think also we need a psychologist in the room. Somebody that understands like behavior. Oh.
What does it say?
I plead the fifth. That's funny.
Dave Chappelle. I love that. Oh my God.
3, 4, 5. So I think we need to have a behavioral psychologist in these rooms that can break down.
Say she's bat crazy?
No, well, because a lot of our cues are nonverbal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think breaking things down, and this is why I love psychology, because I literally psychoanalyze everything.
I wonder what you think of me half the time. I mean, we're still friends.
Yes, we're still friends, and I love you so much. You're my sister. So I think that would be interesting to see the perspective of a behavioral psychologist and how she responded to certain questions, what her body language looked like. The same with him, I think, would be very advantageous. It actually is more telling than a lie detector, because those are not accurate. But the way your body reacts to certain questions, if you're not trained properly on how to like deflect that,
listen,
you give a lot away.
But this is how I know. This is how I know that she's not telling everything. And Lauren Bobart caught it. And I love that Matt Gaetz had her on his show, and she said it. Take a listen, then we'll talk about it.
The Oversight Committee you sit on has released these photos of Bill Clinton with all of these women on Epstein Island. Did anyone show those photos to the former First Lady and ask her if that indeed is her husband?
Yes. So the secretary was shown photos of former President Bill Clinton with photos that were released in the Epstein files, and she did admit that it was her husband, but she could not admit where they were, when they were taken, who they were taken with, and why they were taken, and what he was doing with those women. So it was very difficult to actually get any truth from her. But we did hear from Mrs. Clinton regularly that the committee should ask her husband these questions if we want answers. And so we are going to be asking Bill Clinton questions tomorrow and see if he can recall why he was in hot tubs with these young girls and receiving massages from women, and what exactly he was doing all those times on the Lolita Express and on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Since Hillary Clinton could not recall the conversations that she personally had with her husband once she learned about these images, we are going to take it directly to Bill Clinton himself tomorrow.
We can bring it back to... Hold on.
She is playing this game.
What woman?
She's playing a game. She's playing a game. She's playing a game.
Allie, what woman?
Exactly.
What woman finds out her husband's in pictures with women and has a conversation with him about it and can't remember it?
Because any woman is going to have a conversation about it.
And any woman's going to have a mental Rolodex as sharp as a knife about that. So 22 years later, you can be like, remember that one time? I'm not saying I do that. I'm not saying you should do. But I'm saying what woman does. You don't remember the conversations you had with him?
Yes, she does.
Do you remember what that was like?
She wants to watch him squirm. I'm telling you.
You think she's setting him up?
Yes. She wants to watch it.
Is he being Clintoned?
Now we know who the mastermind is.
Wow.
Honestly, though, she deserves some justice too, though. I'm talking about justice served for her. Like she needs to be held accountable for what she's been doing. That's what I'm saying.
She said, "I'm not Tammy Wynette standing by my man." Well, you know what? Then you've known this has been happening because you knew in Arkansas that it was happening. She threw those women under the bus too. She stood 10 toes down with her husband. She has been speaking very poorly on about Monica Lewinsky. Like her or not, your husband was 50% of those decisions. This is a woman's woman, y'all. She's a woman's woman. Why is she not a woman's woman when it comes to the bedroom and the company that her husband keeps? That makes me so very angry.
Because she's guilty too. And if she admits that she knows, then that makes her guilty. So if you deflect, she's being avoidant.
Listen.
If you deflect, you think you're deflecting accountability, but I'm pretty sure it's going to come down to something. Somebody needs to be held accountable for this mess.
Well, and that was going to be the next thing, is the accountability portion of it, because I think that's what everybody's, I don't want to hear all the details about what Bill Clinton did or did not do. Like, I don't want to know. And it's young people. But what I do want is some kind of accountability, because you've got Epstein dead, you've got Ghislaine Maxwell behind bars, but you've got all the people that bought and sold these women that we know very little. You've got Prince Andrew, who was arrested and then released.
Yeah.
So what is this all for? What is the end game on this? Because there are people that are stepping down. Stepping down is not accountability. Let's go through the list. You have Prince Andrew arrested, Ambassador Pete Mandelson arrested, Bill and Hillary Clinton are getting grilled under oath, Bill Gates has to cancel events, and confess. You've got Obama's lawyer, Kathy Rummel. She resigned from Goldman Sachs. Thomas Pritzker. Hey, is that any relation to Governor Pritzker? Resigns as Hyatt CEO. The World Economic Forum CEO resigned. Larry Summers resigned from Harvard. You've got the former Norway Prime Minister who attempted suicide after an investigation into him was announced. You've got the head of CBS News stepping down. These are all people that are given the liberty to walk away from the spotlight because it's getting a little hot under the collar. But you know what? That's not accountability.
It's not accountability. And I'm still waiting for Hillary Clinton to be held accountable for destroying evidence.
Oh.
I'm still waiting for her to be held. Right. I'm still waiting for her to be held accountable for the deaths of Benghazi.
What difference does it make anyway?
Right.
And if that was your child, you would think it makes a lot of difference, ma'am.
But that's her posture now with her husband. What difference does it make
anyway? Okay, so hold on. I don't have much grace for people like this, ever. That's between me and God. But somebody that is in a situation where they're constantly having to put up with abuse, and by abuse, I mean somebody constantly stepping out of your marriage.
Infidelity, emotional abuse, physical abuse, neglect.
Granted, as an adult, you choose to stay, but there are people that kind of can't get their way out of that web. Mm-hmm. This is a deflecting kind of mechanism. I think allows people to stay in the situations they're in without having to face it. It's almost like they've got to alter reality.
They have blinders on. Yep. I know people like that.
I mean, I'm not giving her any grace.
No, there's no grace.
I'm just saying
there's no grace for that. Millstone around your neck, tossed in the deep side of the ocean. Sorry, babe.
So Benny Johnson says that the fall of Epstein's network is full of global elites. It's a long video. Let's take a listen to a portion of it.
Clinton's plot games and explosive Epstein testimony as Republicans reveal game plan. Peter Mandelson is arrested by the police amid probe into alleged misconduct in public life. So there has now been a series, one after another, of major arrests, major departures, major collapses in careers. Larry Summers just left Harvard. Yesterday, this is Obama's Treasury Secretary, Kathy Rummel, Obama's personal lawyer inside of the White House. She got canned from Goldman Sachs. Now a math teacher from Harvard is put on leave, along with the absolute and total pillaging of multiple different departments and staffs throughout the Ivy Leagues that had connections to Epstein. Totally humiliating. Peter Attia has lost his job at CBS and is disgraced for all time. He's a health and fitness guru. And the World Economic Forum is not immune to this. Crazy news, ladies and gentlemen. The
Remember when
president
they said,
of the World Economic Forum stepping down today.
Remember when they said, or actually, I don't know if this was a fake AI meme, but somebody had this out there where it was allegedly Pam Bondi had said, Attorney General Bondi had said, if we published everything, the system would collapse. I don't know if I've actually seen follow-up that says she didn't say that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put that up. But I'm just, the idea of it, if you think about
if you think it's collapsing, the system is collapsing. And that's, it's a good thing. One, because of the victims, right?
Take it back to the studs and let's just reframe this thing because listen, I keep going back to the scripture we talked about this when I was running 2 years ago, but because people like to choose which part of scripture they implement, that if my people will hear me and turn from their wicked ways and choose to follow me, then I will hear them. I will hear them in heaven, and then I will heal their land. We can't be the party, the Republican Party, the America First Party, the Conservative Party that's like, Lord, Lord, but we don't really want to peel this back to the foundation and say, okay, we need to now look and sound and act and behave like people, although imperfect, that don't partake in this on both sides of the aisle, and then our land can be healed.
Right. Well, Yes, I agree.
Listen, I'm not saying people are going to be perfect. They're not going to be perfect. And that's why people are always like, don't follow me, follow the Lord. But that attempt to know better, and this is a habitual consistency that's happened throughout the Clintons. Again, I go back to Arkansas. I go back to the early 90s. And he has settled with many of these women have had their day in court, and they have been proven to be accurate and true in the courts.
Settled like the coffer, the cushy coffer that we pay for the Senate.
Should we pivot? Should we pivot to that?
We should, because it's.
Can you say the word pivot?
It rhymes. Nope, because you already did.
Wow. So much for besties. I'm just saying. Let's talk about Lauren Boebert, because they caught up to her in the
we were talking about this slush fund, didn't we? We've mentioned it a couple times on the show before.
And we asked where Lauren Boebert was. Well, apparently she's
doing
back. But she's talking about.
Snatched. Go girl! I need to know what her regimen is, ma'am. She's so cute.
She is so cute. Okay, we'll let you guys see it in just a minute, and then we'll talk about it. Take a look.
Congresswoman, so obviously you've called on Congressman Gonzalez to resign over alleged sexual misconduct. There's now a resolution that would reveal a lot more about the culture of sexual misconduct in Congress. Are you supportive of that, despite Congresswoman Mace?
I'm absolutely supportive of Congresswoman Mace's resolution to uncover the other sexual harassment issues that take place here in our nation's capital. And even further, I am supportive of releasing the Congressional Hush Money Slush Fund. There's been tens of millions of dollars that have been paid out over the years here in Congress to keep Hill staffers quiet about alleged sexual misconduct and other forms of mistreatment in the office. So I would love to see every congressman who's ever had to pay a settlement to a staffer, and I'm certainly supportive of Nancy Mace's resolution.
I guess what would be your message to a staffer who finds themselves in these terrible situations where members are being creepy to them?
I mean, it's awful. It's awful in any workplace. It certainly shouldn't be held here. We have high standards. We agree to these standards. We promise hundreds of thousands of people that we are leaders of integrity, and it shouldn't be happening here.
Got it. Thank you.
Don't settle, and you can always make a phone call and go to the news.
So this is Lauren Boebert talking about Jeffrey Epstein. We're alluding to all the things that have happened under Bill Clinton and others, including Monica Lewinsky and that scandal. Guys, this is still happening in Washington, D.C., and what she's referring to is a slush fund paid for by you, the taxpayers. And what does this slush fund do in Washington, D.C.? It pays for staffers to keep quiet when they've got sexual misconduct allegations that they'd like to pursue against their bosses, a.k.a. the people you vote to represent you. So
now, don't think it's just the men in Congress.
Nope.
Because they're going to have you believe it's just men in Congress.
That have women staffers.
Right.
It's not just men and women. It's not just men and their women staffers.
It's the woman and her male
but
staffers.
It's also men and men staffers?
Yes, men and men.
And probably women and women staffers.
I mean, and it could also be the other way around. You never know.
Oh.
Because honestly, if you think about it, a staffer could be like, oh, Okay, so you think that you're, big and bad. Well, now I got you by the cojones, and now you got to pay me.
Well, you know what's interesting?
You know what I'm saying?
You know what's interesting? That's so true, Allie, because following...
You're not going to give me what I want. I gave you what you wanted, but you're not going to give me what I want? Okay. You don't want me to go to the cops? Give me money.
Because
or give me influence.
Part of that
or
was
give me
brought
proximity.
out. Part of that was brought out during the Monica Lewinsky debacle too, and she's later gone on to talk about it. She had people in her ear that were political adversaries to Bill Clinton.
Right.
I'm not talking about necessarily Republicans. I'm talking about other Democrats that didn't like that he was the one in office, and so they were trying to coach her on now that we know that you've done this and that this has happened. That blue dress that has the stain on it. There's DNA evidence. People were almost planted in her life to try to guide the outcome of that very politically. Meanwhile, I would say this young intern, although she's not stupid, she knew what she was doing. She's kind of like I don't know. She's this person that just got caught in the middle of this whole thing.
You guys have to understand this from a wider perspective. It's not just these innocent girls that are being taken advantage of. Sometimes situations occur, and they are also taking advantage of the other person.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when it comes to power, it comes to money, it comes to access, it comes to proximity. Promises are made, they're not kept. Somebody's getting their. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be all things. It can't just be one way or the other way.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I believe that absolutely. And listen, we all know that the people that we elect to represent us, they're not perfect. It's been that way since the beginning of time, and honestly, the beginning of our country. We know that even with some of our founding fathers, we wouldn't agree with everything they did in their private life. So we have to have grace where grace is needed, but we should be allowed to say we expect more, and we want to see these. She's saying, I would like to see the names of who's being paid off what in as far as the representatives, not so much the staffers, because they would be considered the victims, I guess.
I know, but I would think that it would need to go deeper than just names. Because, like I said, it has to be based on case-to-case situations. Because you can,
but you have to know the names first in order to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. But you can't have a staffer who is strong-arming a congressional member,
and that can be played out in a court.
Absolutely. Which is why it wasn't. Which is why it was. You see what I'm saying?
Which is why
this is a whole can of worms that's going to be opened, and it's not going to be as simple as she's a victim or he's a victim. It's more complex than that.
Yeah. Well, because you've got money, you've got influence, you've got access, all of that's to play. So it's not just in the halls of Washington, though, or in apparently the Clinton family. It's also something that we are trying to deal with in this country, thanks to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all the Democrats that thought it was interesting to leave the door wide open at our southern border. So now dealing with finding these unaccompanied minors, finding people that came across the border with help from cartels that basically sold them into slavery. We've got a report, Allie, coming out of Omaha. This is Nebraska. Like, nobody thinks this stuff's happening in Nebraska.
But when we said every state became a border state,
we meant it.
We meant it.
This is
Omaha, Nebraska.
Trend Aragua. Take a listen to this report.
The Douglas County Attorney's Office says the investigation is still ongoing, but we do know 6 men are in jail. He says a minor was brought here to Omaha from another city. Omaha police arrested these 5 men on Tuesday. They include Sumit Shadari, Vishal Goswami, Kavan Kumar Patel, Michael Martinez Gonzalez, and Alfredo Zambrano Hurtado. A 6th man, Eduardo Perdermo, faces 5 other charges.
We're in the process of charging several of them with trafficking charges, sexual assault charges. It appears to be, the allegations is a 15-year-old girl who was brought here from another city and trafficked by somebody from this other city. So we'll have more details as we go along here.
We asked Klein if this sex trafficking case is connected to a Venezuelan gang known as Tren de Aragua. Do we know, I guess, if the TDA gang is involved in all that at all with these cases?
That's something I'm very interested in, and there's a possibility.
Klein says Omaha isn't immune to crimes like sex trafficking.
I think sometimes people don't believe that, sex trafficking can't happen in Omaha.
We can bring it back, David. Yeah, it is everywhere, and if there's a sheriff near you that's saying it's not, you might want to think again and maybe invite him out for coffee and just share some stats or share Open Mic Ladies and let him watch it because it is everywhere. It's across the nation, trying to be a part of cleaning it up. We are going to go on to commercial break, guys, because we've got so much more coming up in our second segment of the hour. You'll be right back with more Open Mic. Go get you a Liberty cigar. We'll be right back.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order.
Not reading through emails at all, just looking. Welcome back, guys, to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. We're so glad you guys joined us. If you haven't already, make sure you're following at Real Allie Leger, at Michelle Posey, and at Open Mic Ladies on all platforms. Allie, I guess we'll just keep it continuing. Can we talk about ILHAN OMAR? We told you yesterday
Again?
she was in hot water. Listen, when we talk about your plus one, whether we're talking about Chelsea Clinton's wedding or the State of the Union address, can we do just simple background check? Look at who ILHAN OMAR. Look, she's in hot water. Not only did she bring a guest,
I think they let her come so they could arrest her. They knew who she was. It's not like they didn't know.
Her guest to the State of the Union was the same person that was arrested in Minneapolis. But she's in some hot water even beyond that. Take a look. We'll talk about it.
Well, now investigators are tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman ILHAN OMAR. Many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her. He has since been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds.
The company you keep.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
This is something that we teach our kids. Like,
okay, but wait. Like, I know everyone is focused on like sexual immorality, like in Congress.
Yeah.
What about fraud?
Insider trading fraud.
When are we going to have a congressional oversight hearing on this?
J.D. Vance, he announced in the State of the Union, is going to be the head of a fraud task force.
Yeah, no, that's good, and I'm glad that that's coming. I'm just bringing it up. I know
why
it's
do you have
happening.
to have a fraud task force? Is there not these checks and balances in these organizations and bureaucracies already? Like, didn't you have to audit not audit yourself? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But when government,
if you can't self-regulate and self-police, I guess.
Listen, when government investigates itself, does justice really actually happen?
You're not allowed to be both the judge and the jury. Let's just put it that way.
So I don't know. I'm confident in this new administration.
Yes.
And with the people that we currently have sitting in Congress that are very bold. I mean, Anna Luna is bold. We have they're bold. They're bold. Burchett's bold. Bobart's bold. Mace is bold. They're bold. They're all bold.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
And beautiful. I don't know if that's
I appreciate that. If we're gonna go after one part that does not align with conservative values, we need to go after all of it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Allie. And here's even further proof. You've got somebody sitting behind bars right now. Her name is Amy Bach. She is behind the $9 billion Minnesota Somali fraud operation. She's sitting behind bars. But you know what's funny? When you tag somebody else to take the fall for you, they all of a sudden grow a spine and realize, you know what? I didn't agree to take the fall for you. So now she's speaking from behind bars and dropping some names. Take a listen.
Alert also in Minnesota, the convicted ringleader of one of the state's biggest fraud schemes is speaking to Fox News from behind bars. Now, she believes that the scam was no surprise to local Democratic leaders, and she's naming names. She spoke to Alexis McAdams. Hi, Alexis.
Hey, Dana. Yeah, so everywhere you look in the state of Minnesota, right, there seems to be another fraud scam. So this one involves Amy Bach. She's a Minnesota woman convicted of fraud for taking taxpayer money that was meant to feed hungry kids. But listen to this. Bach tells me the real issue here is the state of Minnesota, which she says kept giving scammers your taxpayer money even after they were flagged as fraudsters.
I have to believe that the governor's office and Keith Ellison's office were aware of this. They've said they were involved in helping the FBI. They've said they were made aware. But apparently I'm scary, so they couldn't do anything.
So Bach ran this nonprofit called Feeding Our Future. You might have heard of it. It was one of dozens convicted in this $250 million scam. You can see her mugshot there. Prosecutors say this group set up sham restaurants. They pretended they were making these meals. They got paid by the state for those meals, but they just pocketed the cash. Bach, who's looking at 30 years behind bars, tells me the state signed off on those businesses, not her.
It all went through a process. They were all approved. They were all paid by the state.
We could bring it back, David. Thank you.
Y'all,
we're sitting here in a fit.
It's racist. The only reason why she's behind bars is because she's white.
I mean, isn't that the argument we hear all the time from many on different sides?
It's because she's white. And she's not in government. If she was an elected representative or working in the governor's office or the AG's office, she wouldn't be in jail right now.
They said, Allie, that they created these false brick and mortar restaurants, pretended to be cooking. It's like,
oh my God.
And making these meals to go to feed the hungry, and they never did any of it. And she's now saying, listen, you knew.
Right.
You knew. You already investigated us once. You knew.
You knew.
Wow.
Well, and this is why I'm like, what in the B613? If y'all's ever seen Scandal, then you know where I'm coming from with that. But this is why slush funds exist, right? To keep canaries from singing.
Yep.
Because if you give out a payout, and this is where it gets interesting, right, with slush funds, because if you give a payout and there's no documentation that's signed and filed somewhere with someone that you trust, like a lawyer, then they can always come back and ask for more money or ask for more provision, right? Something else. Because you give them, it's like giving someone that's holding something hostage from you, and you're like, don't negotiate with hostages. I'm gonna give you this. But if you give me $500,000 and you give it to me, and then I come back 3 weeks later, I'm like, I need another $500,000. Are you gonna give it to me, or are you gonna go to the cops? Because now you're complicit. Because now you're paying.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
You know
true.
what I'm saying? So it's a two-way street
it's
here.
deep. And this is the same thing actually with the Epstein files. It's
Yes.
Like,
It's
you
a
got
tit for
Epstein,
tat.
you got Ghislaine Maxwell. Where's the rest of the layers? This isn't just an Amy Bach thing.
It's an onion.
She's just the face of it right now.
And if the governor knows,
and the attorney general knows,
and the attorney general knows, then how do you not think that your congressional member doesn't know?
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if that's
That's
the
why
area.
these Somalians that were brought in into court were saying it's our state legislators. They know, and people are like,
right,
we just need you to take the fall for this Somalian immigrant because we don't really want.
It is.
Please
so
don't pull us
crazy.
all down.
This is like the wildest story. It makes Nixon look like child's play.
And he at least had the wherewithal to step down. Guys, ICE is going to be coming back main stage for another curtain call because there are states that are saying, we're ready for you, ICE. I mean, tell me if this is not a call to endanger the lives of federal law enforcement. Let's take a listen. This is in New Jersey.
We're gearing up in New Jersey now, but New Jersey is gearing up for ICE. We want you to know that we're going to be ready when you come here. So you think you saw something in Minneapolis? You come to New Jersey. We may be small, but we're freaking mighty.
That is Representative Bonnie Coleman. Guess which party? The Democrats. What is that? How is that not some
Sounds
kind of...
like an insurrection to me. Oh, did I say the I word?
Well, not
sorry.
every state feels that way. Maryland has tried to play these FAFO games, and the Maryland Sheriff's Department stepped in, and this is how law enforcement feels.
This is leadership.
Take
right
a
here.
listen.
This is nothing more than politics over public safety, and we as elected sheriffs are fed up with it. You don't see this many sheriffs in one location in the state at any given time, but we have to come together in unison to stop the ridiculousness that's going on up here in Annapolis, Maryland. And lawmakers need to wake up and realize Marylanders and the American people want public safety over politics, and they're not getting it.
Back the blue, black the blue.
I'm saying, and honestly, if you do back the blue, please make sure that you say so.
Oh, yeah. all the time.
Show them some support because they're getting attacked. It's crazy out here. But I like that he is a sheriff, and I like that he said that as elected sheriffs, we are fed up because that is their job. Their job as they are elected. They're constitutional officers. What do you think that means? That they are that's their first line. They take an oath to defend and support the United States Constitution, and that means that they cannot impede federal agencies.
Yeah,
they have to cooperate with them.
And they work
because it supersedes.
They work in tangent,
unless it's egregious, and that's different.
Yeah, and they're supposed to. They appreciate the help with federal law enforcement. I just think when you hear that kind of banter from New Jersey and from representatives there, you also need to see the other side of that. And Maryland is a blue state. I don't have any idea what that sheriff's voting record is, but it doesn't matter. This is a law enforcement issue. If you're not on the right side of this issue, you need to seek medical attention.
Literally, on a 16, the SAVE Act is a 16% issue, but this issue to protect our cities and our nation at large is something that is important. We need to make sure that we are safeguarding our families,
absolutely,
our American citizens here, and getting rid of criminals. Even if you are here legally and you are participating in human slavery, you're participating in drug trafficking, you need to be removed.
Absolutely. Well, Allie, and this goes for, you mentioned the SAVE Act. This is another thing that all people have said all Americans have said they want. Really, it's favorable on both the Democrat and Republican platform sides, and even though the Democrats are fighting tooth and nail against it, but getting the right messaging out matters. It's why Allie and I do what we do with Open Mic. It's why we have our C4, the Hollow Alliance, and why we also do a local show, Coastal Conservative News, because how you frame something and how you educate the electorate matters, because you, the people, cannot really act appropriately on something if they're making it difficult to understand. So how you educate the public and how you push that marketing through to the American people really matters. This is now the Freedom Caucus Foundation. They have nailed it. They're explaining the talking filibuster, why it matters, and why the Save America Act needs to move forward. Take a look.
The House Freedom Caucus led in passing the Save America Act in the House to require voter ID and citizenship to vote in federal elections. Now it goes to the Senate. You're going to hear the excuse that it needs 60 votes to pass there, but that's not true. Senate rules allow bringing the Save America Act to the floor at any time. If 51 Republicans show up, Democrats would have to filibuster, standing and talking, hour after hour, to block it. As long as Republicans show a backbone and stay united, Democrats will eventually run out of time to talk. Tell your senator to make the Democrats actually debate instead of just giving in to them. The House Freedom Caucus says the Senate should support President Trump and the House in passing this law essential to saving America. The Freedom Caucus Foundation is responsible for this ad.
Boom.
Guys, seriously, I could not be more proud. I could not be more proud of the American people who are politically plugged in, who are wielding their political power at the appropriate political pressure points, because that is what caused the Freedom Caucus to put out a freaking video, a commercial. When have you ever seen a commercial?
I'm like, who's running for office?
From a political action committee. When have you ever seen a commercial that is forcing the hand of the Senate to get something passed?
We are taking the tools that many people use during the midterms and during the general election when somebody's running for office, and you're seeing these PACs now use it to push forward what we want for policy. This is where it matters.
This is how you do
and
it.
It was done so well because you understood it there. What they're saying is tell your senator that you need to make sure you force the Democrats to stand there and talk and debate and filibuster to try to waste the clock on trying to only secure elections for citizens. Make them talk.
And the reason why they've done it this way is because it has to go. So Mitch McConnell, the reason why everyone's talking about Mitch McConnell.
Sorry.
The reason why we're talking about Mitch McConnell with the SAVE Act is because he is in charge of the agenda. And the SAVE Act needs to go through committee in order for it to get put on the House floor in order for them to vote on it or debate on it. Now, because he's holding it up and he's not answering phones, he's not doing anything, he's not going to put it on the agenda, it is up to Barrasso, who is the whip, to get those votes, right? But it's also up to Leader Thune, who is essentially like your state Senate president, who can wield his position and influence to get it put on the agenda just like we've done here in Florida with several other bills that needed to get pushed forward. We were wondering why certain Senate presidents weren't doing it. So you have you have people with influence within the Senate to push that and make that happen. So that's why this video is out here like this. So if you're calling and you're giving the spiel like, hey, put it on the agenda, then you're also saying we need to make sure that you stand and have a backbone. Then you're also saying, John Thune, get your act together and actually support this.
Well, and here's the thing. You brought up Mitch McConnell, and we've been told from people in the administration as well that Mitch McConnell is playing his role of not doing anything, by putting on the agenda. But here is video of somebody trying to ask Mitch McConnell that very question. Y'all, how is he allowed to serve? How is he fit? Take a look.
For McConnell, can you give us some information on why you blocked the SAVE Act, or any information on your thoughts on what Rep. Tim Burchett said about staffers running your office? Any comments, sir?
I mean, I don't even think he can comment. Again, the geriatric wing of Congress.
Listen, you guys, we have this for the president. We have amendments to the Constitution that for us to be, although we didn't use it under Joe Biden, to test the capacity of those that are the CEO of our country. How is that not also something that we can use to measure the capacity of our elected representatives, both House and Senate side? Okay, listen. When I would sit down to do a real estate deal at closing, one particular time I remember going to close, and I knew these people personally. They were good friends of mine. And the person doing the closing looked at the buyer and asked a question, and then looked at the other buyer, because they're a married couple, and asked him a question, and she answered for him. And she said, nope, he has to be cognizant of what he's agreeing to. Otherwise, do you have paperwork that shows you're able to, you basically have medical whatever over him? And she was like, no, we could not close. We had to go back 2 weeks later after they got the documentation from from doctors saying she has the medical whatever over her husband, because he was starting to lose his memory, and he couldn't remember his birth date. Certain things like that. If that's to buy a house,
right? Why do we have them sitting? Why can't we do that for members of Congress?
Do you know where you're at, sir? What day is it? What are you voting on?
Where's that legislation? Here, let me write it real quick.
I'm just saying. And to Mitch McConnell, to your family, like, what are you doing, honestly? Like, why? I thought this about the Bidens, too. How much are you getting?
Right.
Whoa.
What's your kickback?
Thank you. What's in it for you to watch this man be wheeled in and out by wheelchair into all rooms, and you know he can't answer a freaking question? Is there an auto pen in Mitch McConnell's office somewhere?
Access, power, proximity.
Y'all, just makes me mad.
Money changes people.
Anyway, so
they don't want to lose it.
The Democrats, by choosing to sit out basically on the State of the Union, by choosing not to stand for the American people, by choosing not to stand for the angel families, by choosing not to stand for common sense policies that have made America win this past year, they basically wrote their own ad for the Republican Party. Take a look.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. These people are crazy.
I mean, you don't even need B-roll and extra actors. They just did it themselves.
I love how Caroline Levitt put it. She goes, they fell into President Trump's trap because they couldn't help themselves. And now the entire world knows that the Democrat Party does not align with American constituents.
Ooh, and this is the thing, Allie. Overwhelmingly, let's fast forward a little bit, if we could, David, to right here, to approval is undeniable. Take a look at this. This isn't a blue or red thing.
No.
Take a look at these numbers. 75% approved of his speech. This is CBS, you guys. This isn't Fox or Real America's Voice.
75%.
Only 25% disapprove, and they probably were at the frog
The
The
was
frog
just
thing.
weird.
That was
Like,
very
it's weird. It is weird. That's why I said what I said when we were at the governor's mansion. Like, y'all have lost y'all's mind. How do you still call yourself a Democrat? Did you see that? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
it's true.
not. It looked like I was watching an episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
It was not even theater. It wasn't even that. Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, before we leave,
a horrible.
I want to leave
SNL.
our viewers with something that's a little bit uplifting because it's Friday, and let's face it, you've got to get through the weekend. But did you know? So they had a father of 7-year-old Delilah Coleman.
Yes,
She was left permanently disabled because she was hit and struck by an illegal behind the wheel of a car. But this is what took place while they visited the White House. Out on the White House front lawn. Allie, get your woman feels all together. Take a look.
Smile. Love it.
You're lying.
Okay, my standards are just like way up here.
Bring it back, David.
I said my standards are just up here. Like they're just up here. We have. Do you know how many? Look, I'm not even. I have friends. We have friends that were just proposed to outside of the White House. I'm like, really?
Listen, there's a new bare minimum. Right? If you can bring somebody to the White House and perform in the White House lawn, I'm just saying.
That is just so sweet. And I say that tongue in cheek. But
it is true.
But that is just so sweet. That is just the sweetest thing.
Listen, Allie, and you don't have to share it if you don't want to,
Oh
but if I were to take this journey ever again, I think I would love like I want something more closer to home. Like it's got to be like maybe we're at a country concert or we're at the bowling alley. Or
here we go. Go ahead, keep going. I'm listening.
Okay, follow me, men and women. Here we go. I'm thinking or we go to like visit one of these like barns where you go to like ride horses and stuff, and like even if he's never worn a cowboy hat ever in his life, he's got one.
Intimate.
Like,
yeah. Okay.
What does yours look like?
I like it.
Is yours at the White House?
We're not discussing that.
Oh. I just gave a lot. You're not gonna give. Wow.
I'm gonna hold my cards to me, ma'am.
Well, I have many different cards. I'm saying I think this is the thing behind this.
That's really sweet.
It's the thought.
It is.
It's the thought and the planning.
And the preparation.
And the preparation.
And that's
it doesn't
really
have
what
to
matters.
It doesn't have to cost a lot. It doesn't
That's
have to be.
what matters.
I think, but she should know. Like on this occasion, where the focus is, wow, we're getting a chance to go to the White House for the first time. Somewhere in the back of his mind, he was like,
I'm gonna make this memorable.
And it's that thought that counts.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is just beautiful. It really is. I mean, I believe there's a bill that is has been passed through the House, I believe, called Delilah's Act, I think it is. Yeah. And it's to keep CDLs out of hands of illegal
those that
immigrants.
can't read and write English.
Right. And this is just beautiful for him to do that outside the White House. That is just so important outside the White House.
I bet they're going to get married at Mar-a-Lago.
They might. They just might.
Putting
And
that
if
out
President Trump will show up, I'm absolutely sure. And even if they don't, if they invite the president, I'm sure he'll come.
We wish you
that's
the
just
best.
Amazing. Yes,
we
do.
are hopeless romantics. Hopeful
romantics, for sure.
Some days are more difficult than others, but all right, that's it for Open Mic, ladies, today. Guys, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Follow us. We'll be right back here Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Until then, don't go mute. Don't go silent over the weekend. You keep that mic open.
Enjoy your weekend, y'all.